see a freight that is nearly the size of the Eiffel Tower, and to see that same freight with the key bridge resting on top of it. To see shipping containers that were ripped in half as if they were paper mache. To know that out there you have to navigate high winds and electric wires. To go out there and to see it up close, you realize just how daunting a task this is.
It won't be cheap, it won't be easy, and it won't be quick, but bridge cleanup has started in Baltimore with the help of one of the largest cranes on the East Coast. I'm Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. And before the Port of Baltimore can reopen or the bridge can be rebuilt, authorities still have to clear every single piece of debris, big or small, from that shipping channel, which they think includes human remains trapped in all that rubble. Now, clearing the bridge wreckage is going to be a job in itself. Clearing the ship is a whole other thing altogether. This image, this is from inside the Dolly cargo ship. That right there is the bridge crushing the hull, ripping through the side. This is what it looks like from the outside of the ship. It shows that the bridge will have to be cut up before it's brought to shore, and that's so that the cranes won't capsize when they lift the pieces out of the water. That includes one of the biggest cranes on the East Coast, which got there today, and that crane has the ability to lift 1,000 tons at once. Meanwhile, divers are still dealing with almost zero visibility in that frigid water, with officials saying it's like locking yourself in a dark closet on a dark night and trying to move around. All this as President Biden announces plans to visit Baltimore next week. NBC News reporter Gary Grumbach joins us now from Baltimore. Gary, thanks so much for being with us. The governor outlined a pretty extensive, and by the sounds of it, very expensive salvage mission in the coming weeks. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, this is a project that is going to take weeks and months just to clear the wreckage in the river behind me here. What we're talking about in terms of process is, as you mentioned, they're going to have to cut up the bridge into smaller pieces because, yes, this is one of the largest cranes in the country, one of the largest cranes in the East Coast. But even it cannot take up this entire bridge at one time. They're going to break it into pieces. They're going to start pulling it off the ship. And then they've got to see what the ship's seaworthiness is. Can the ship actually move, and can it get back to a port? If it can, it's going to move. And then, by the way, the crew members who are still on board at this very moment are going to be able to get off the ship. From there, they're going to clean up, as you mentioned, every little bit, every piece to clear this channel, because they don't want other ships that come through to be hit by any other piece of metal that could impact those ships' conditions. So this is going to be a very long process and a very expensive one, too, Gadi.
And Gary, the governor says the top priority is recovery of the 4 workers that have still not been brought to the surface. I know that there's been talk that they might have possibly been inside of cars. Is that still the thinking?
That is the thinking, according to one of the family members of one of the survivors, saying that they believe all of the construction workers were inside their vehicles taking a break at this time. Now, of course, we're sourcing that to one of the family members there. That's not been fully confirmed with authorities by NBC News. But that is sort of what we're working with here, right? And it's so impossible right now, an impossible mission to even get down there, because you can't tell right now. It's gotten a little dark here, but there were 30-mile-an-hour gusts today, and that includes the water as well. So that impacts what's happening in the water, and you can't put divers down there when there may be shifting happening underneath. So no divers were able to go in the water today to even look for these bodies at this point. Gadi.
And we've heard about this money coming from Washington. Governor Wes Moore is saying that this is not going to come cheap. How much are we talking here?
So we heard that $60 million has already been put forward by the Department of Transportation and the Biden administration to start this process. But we are talking that by the time this is all over, in probably 5 or 6 years when this bridge is rebuilt, we are talking $1 billion project, because it is not only the cleanup, it is not only economic impact we are talking here, where $15 million a day of economic impact is lost every day this port behind me is closed and is impassable, but we're also talking the 8,000 port workers who currently cannot do their jobs because the port is impassable. We're talking the vehicles that were coming in and out. This is the largest auto port for exports and imports in the country. We're talking the perfumes, the coal, the sugar, all of the things that were big time at this port cannot happen. And then we're talking, of course, the cost of actually rebuilding the bridge. It's not cheap to build a bridge, and they're going to have to build one that is not only up to par, but one that also can prevent something like this from ever happening again.
Such a staggering number of ripple effects we're going to be feeling for quite some time. Gary Grumbach, thanks so much. And we are learning more about some of the men presumed dead in this tragedy. Beloved fathers, brothers, sons, all of them Latino, just like 1 out of every 3 construction workers in this country. And today, Baltimore construction workers honored those who died while sharing some of the struggles they all face.
The workers who are immigrants to this country, workers who shoulder to shoulder with U.S.-born workers and as brothers and sisters build this nation.
As a community member, as an essential worker,
merecemos respeto,
we deserve respect,
dignity
de este país, from this country.
Merecemos un alivio migratorio.
We deserve immigration relief.
NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo has more on their stories.
The world learning more about the 6 people, all Latino immigrants, presumed dead in Baltimore's tragic bridge collapse.
Mi hermano es el motor de la familia. Mi hermano es todo para nosotros. Es lo mejor.
Among them, Maynor Suazo, the father of 2, described as the driving force for his family in Honduras, who he helped try to find better lives in America.
Él fue un pilar fundamental, un bastión para que otras personas de la familia también pudieran viajar hacia allá.
There were 8 construction workers on the Francis Scott Key Bridge tasked with filling potholes when the massive Dali cargo ship collided with the structure, causing the collapse, according to Maryland transportation officials. 2 of the men were saved in the immediate aftermath. The remaining 6, including Dorlian Castillo Cabrera and Jose Lopez from Guatemala, Alejandro Fernandez Fuentes from Mexico, and Miguel Luna from El Salvador. Their presumed deaths drawing attention to the severe risks much of America's growing Latino labor force faces, often while doing important jobs that keep the country's economy humming. The Department of Labor lists construction as a high-hazard industry where workers are often exposed to serious risks, a field in which Latinos are overrepresented. An estimated 30% of all construction workers in the U.S. are Latino, despite the group making up just about 18% of the total workforce. The death rate for Latino construction workers in the U.S. was nearly 42% higher than the death rate for non-Latino workers in 2020. One potential reason, fear from some immigrant workers over what will happen if they speak up about labor issues.
It is a little bit more dangerous for Latino workers working in fear if they go somewhere to complain as to what happens to them and their family tomorrow if they complain today.
A devastating reality hitting home tonight for the family of Jose Lopez, whose body has not been recovered. His daughter has not stopped asking about it.
Le decimos que él anda trabajando. Le hemos dicho que él anda trabajando y que pronto regresa.
Miguel Luna disappearing just a week after posting this joyous video of a gender reveal for his future grandchild. And Maynor Suazo's brother still in disbelief that a casual Sunday afternoon goodbye would be their last.
Lo último que nací, domingo a las 3. Un abrazo de despedida.
Stephen Romo, thank you so much for that report. Now to an NBC News exclusive, a rare interview with a senior leader inside the CIA, a top cybersecurity official, talking about the biggest threats facing the U.S. from foreign adversaries. And NBC's Courtney Cubie has that story.
What would you say is the foreign government that is, I guess, causing you the most heartburn right now?
Oh, gosh. I heard somebody make a great analogy. They said Russia and Putin right now are like a massive hurricane that can have some very long-lasting damage and impact. But the People's Republic of China and the threat of conflict in the Far East is like climate change. The potential for an epic event that could really change lives.
Julianne Galina's title may sound bureaucratic.
I'm the Deputy Director of the CIA for Digital Innovation.
But her portfolio is broad and essential. Appointed in February, she's in charge of the CIA's efforts to detect and protect against cyber threats from abroad. Among her foremost concerns, threats to U.S. elections, particularly Russia spreading false information, creating doubt and swaying U.S. officials. And with China, she sees efforts to influence U.S. opinion as the biggest threat.
If you're changing the minds of a group of people or many people, that's hard to undo. It's hard to even know what the source was or how it happened.
Including on social media.
Are you on TikTok?
No.
Neither are her kids or her parents, she says.
I tell them don't touch it.
TikTok denies being owned by the Chinese government. But back at CIA headquarters, her biggest concern might surprise you.
Honestly, the thing that concerns me the most is worrying that maybe someone in my enterprise still has password 123 as the password. In other words, basic cyber hygiene.
Courtney Kuby, NBC News, Langley, Virginia.
And let's do a quick check-in on the travel situation heading into the holiday weekend. Here is a live look right now at LAX, where folks are expected to be dealing with a steady rainfall over the next couple of days. And NBC's Priya Sridhar is out east. She joins us from the busiest airport in the known universe, Atlanta. Priya, what's it looking like there?
Yeah, Gadi, actually, there's a triple whammy going on right now that's impacting travel. We have Easter weekend, spring break, and also that total solar eclipse that's happening on April 8th that's really spiking those travel numbers up. The airport officials here in Atlanta told me that they were projecting 7.6 million travelers were going to pass through this airport between March 14th and April 7th. The busiest day in that 3-week period happens to be today, with 335,000 passengers expected to pass through here. Now, one thing that makes this spring break a little bit unique in comparison to previous spring breaks is that solar eclipse that I was talking about before, and that's really sustaining these large travel numbers for a longer period of time. The FAA is expecting that there's going to be 50,000 travelers per day going through airports across the country, specifically in the path of that solar eclipse. So we're seeing people go to different destinations, not just spring break destinations like the beach that you would normally think of, but people are going to places like Dallas, Cleveland, Buffalo, and Indianapolis, and those locations are also seeing hotel prices go up 550%. So the airport officials are saying come early if you can, 2.5 hours early. Also consider getting a ride to the airport or perhaps taking an Uber, because they're expecting that parking is going to be limited, Gadi.
335,000 people in a single very, very, very large and complicated building, but that is just wild. Priya, thanks so much. And don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Food workers here in California are getting a big boost to their paychecks on Monday. We're going to have details on who that impacts. And later this hour, in the future of everything, we are talking the future of sleep. Check this out. Rejuvenation in the 21st century. This is a story you're not going to want to miss. We are relaxing in a specialized sleep slumber suite in downtown Los Angeles with the latest and greatest of relaxation tech. Not going to want to miss this. It's coming up next. Hey, welcome back. He is the feared gang leader, considered by some as the most powerful man in Haiti. We're going to hear from him coming up. But first, let's take a quick look around the world. Top U.S. officials say they warned Russia about last week's terrorist attack. Yesterday, National Security spokesman John Kirby said they even warned him in writing. Kirby is calling any Russian claim that Ukraine was involved complete nonsense. And some school districts in Canada are suing Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, and TikTok owner ByteDance, and claiming that their platforms are harming children's mental health and their ability to learn. They're also saying the companies are deliberately going after kids with products designed to create compulsive behavior. And some U.S. school districts like New York and Oakland have filed similar lawsuits. Pope Francis skipped Good Friday, a Good Friday procession at the Colosseum, opting to preserve his strength for Easter Sunday services. Yesterday, he was at a prison in Rome, washing and kissing the feet of a dozen inmates there, and he did it all from his wheelchair after a recent sickness has limited his mobility. And an incredible sight in Iceland as the northern lights were captured glowing over an erupting volcano. Take a look at this. The area around the volcano is closed to the public, so getting hurt is not much of a concern right now. Those images were shot last week They are nothing short of spectacular. And turning now to the Middle East, new airstrikes have been reported inside Syria, which is blaming Israel. And those strikes come as hostage talks continue in Doha and fighting intensifies inside of Gaza. NBC's Josh Letterman has the latest.
Syria is blaming Israel for what it says were Israeli strikes inside Syrian territory that killed a reported 40 people, including both members of the Syrian military as well as Hezbollah operatives inside Syria. Now, the Israeli government is not yet commenting on these strikes, but that is really not surprising. In fact, since the war started in October, Israel has conducted literally hundreds of strikes inside Syrian government-controlled parts of the country and almost never acknowledges them publicly. But Israel is acknowledging today strikes in Syria's neighbor Lebanon against Hezbollah, where both Israel and Hezbollah say the Israeli Air Force took out a top Hezbollah commander who was the number 2 in Hezbollah's missiles and rockets unit. And so this is really the latest example of violence that is spreading beyond Israel and the Gaza Strip into other parts of the region involving Iran-backed proxies in the region and raising fears about a wider regional war being set off. At the same time, those efforts continue to try to free the hostages who remain in the Gaza Strip. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in his office today acknowledging that he has now spoken with the head of the Mossad, Israel's foreign intelligence agency, as well as the Shin Bet, Israel's internal security office, and instructed them to continue with negotiations that are set to resume in the coming days, both in Doha, Qatar, as well as in Cairo, Egypt, 2 countries that have played host in the past to many of these hostage talks. Now, in the last week or so, Israel has in fact blamed the U.S. and a UN Security Council resolution that the U.S. allowed to pass for disrupting and being an obstacle to those peace talks. But the U.S. government now publicly at odds with Israel over that, saying Hamas had already come up with its response to the latest hostage proposal before that vote in the UN ever took place. And so there is public disagreement now between the U.S. and Israel, even as all sides continue trying to work for another hostage and ceasefire deal.
Josh Letterman, thanks so much. And coming up, how the New York City Police Department is using artificial intelligence to keep the subway safe. That and more headlines we're watching tonight are coming up next, so stay tuned. Hey, welcome back. A lot of fish are mysteriously dying off the coast of Florida. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But first, here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. A man was just charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of NYPD officer Jonathan Diller. Now, the suspect, Guy Rivera, was parked in a car when officers approached and asked him to get out of the car and take his hands out of his pockets. Rivera then shot Officer Diller through the window. The FDA is issuing a warning on a heart pump that's now been linked to 49 deaths and more than 100 serious injuries. The agency is saying that it can puncture a wall of the heart, but despite all that, the Impella pump is still in use, but the manufacturer of the device did issue a recall of the instructions on how to use it. And New York City will soon start testing out portable gun scanners in the subway. The tech uses AI to detect guns that pass through the turnstiles. One of the companies involved, called Evolve, has been criticized in the past over how accurate its scanners actually are. And this morning, actor Louis Gossett Jr. died at 87 years old. He was the first black man to win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. His acting career spanned 6 decades. He was just in last year's remake of The Color Purple. Right now, we still don't know the cause of his death. And Beyonce has just gone country. Fans are buzzing about the artist's new album, Cowboy Carter, which dropped today. It's a nod to the artist's Texas background and features beloved country artists like Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson. And it comes after Beyonce released 2 country singles, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages, on Super Bowl Sunday. And in Georgia, one Republican official has repeated Trump's claims of widespread election fraud in Georgia many times. But it turns out that man himself might have been voting illegally, and not just once or twice either. According to a new ruling by a judge, Brian Pritchard voted illegally 9 times while serving a sentence for felony conviction dating back 30 years. NBC's Blaine Alexander has more.
Well, Gadi, this is a Republican official here in Georgia by the name of Brian Pritchard. And basically, a judge found this week that he had voted illegally up to 9 times. Now, how exactly did this come about? Well, according to basically, he was found by a board to have voted illegally 9 times. That decision was upheld by a judge this week. And the judge basically says that he was found to have registered to vote while he was serving a sentence for a felony, a couple of felonies that date back some 30 years or so. So Pritchard has been fined $5,000. He is facing public reprimand for his conduct, and he also has to reimburse the board for investigative costs and all of this. Now, what's notable about this is that Pritchard had previously made remarks calling into question the validity of the 2020 presidential election results. And so certainly when you look at those past remarks in light of what he's been found to have done as of this week, certainly very notable. Now, NBC News has reached out to Pritchard's attorney. We've not gotten a response. We've also reached out to the state Republican Party and not gotten a response either. Gadi.
Blaine Alexander, thanks so much. Now, imagine you're out in the water in Florida and you start to see sawfish, lots of them, but they're dead. It is a sketchy sight to see, but it's a sight a lot of people have been coming across in the Florida Keys, and it's left scientists baffled and in desperate search for the cause. NBC's Marissa Parra has that story.
In the shimmering blue waters of the Florida Keys, along the jewel of Florida's southern coast, a mystery lurks beneath the surface. Fish with the spins, flipping and spinning without stop.
In my lifetime of dives, I've never seen any behavior like this from fish at all.
Diver Greg Furstenworth first observed it last year and soon learned the fish, including the small-toothed sawfish, which can grow up to 16 feet, were dying. Scientists are struggling to understand why.
It's unprecedented. They do not spin like this. They do not behave like this. This is not normal behavior at all.
That highly unusual behavior has been seen in more than 40 species, according to Florida Fish and Wildlife. Necropsies on dead fish have revealed no sign of a pathogen or bacterial infection. State officials say oxygen levels, water salinity, pH, and temperature are not believed to be the cause, bewildering researchers.
It's a mystery. There's so many different possibilities that it's really difficult to isolate which one it could be.
28 sawfish have been found dead, but the actual number believed to be even higher, a blow to this critically endangered species that was early in its road to recovery.
So to see these animals dying could be a major setback. We want to get to the bottom of it and figure out a way to come back from this.
Fisheries in the Florida Keys remain open, though state officials say swimming where dead fish are observed isn't recommended.
Why do we need to protect the ecosystem and the fish that live here?
It's very special. Future generations need to be able to appreciate it the same way I did.
Marissa Parra, NBC News, the Florida Keys.
So concerning. Marissa Parra, thank you so much. And coming up, a new program from the Coast Guard is hoping to keep more whales alive. We're going to tell you how that works. But first, you got to see this.
Your car is on fire. I need you to get out of your car if you can.
That's a Range Rover that caught on fire after flipping over in a front yard in Johns Creek, Georgia. Police body cam video shows officers desperately working to try to rescue the woman trapped inside. They were able to get the fire under control and had to break through the car's window to save her. Guess what they found when they pulled her out?
What is this? Really?
Yep, that's the bottle of the hard stuff. The woman was charged with reckless driving and a DUI. What a crazy scene. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Big changes are coming to pay for fast food workers. More on that in just a minute. But first, here are some other stories we're watching out in the West. A judge in New Mexico has denied a request from Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who is hoping to be released from jail. She was convicted in the death of the movie's cinematographer earlier this month, and for now, she'll stay locked up while her lawyers try to appeal her conviction. She's expected to be sentenced in April and faces up to 18 months in prison. Over in Colorado, the Army is reporting an Apache gunship crash. This is the second time one has crashed within 48 hours. Both times, the high-tech choppers went down. The crews were able to make it out alive, but were taken to the hospital. The first chopper crash happened at a base in Washington State on Monday night during a training exercise. The second one happened in Fort Carson, Colorado. The Army is investigating both incidents. And LA's long promised rail link, dubbed the People Mover, is, you guessed it, getting delayed again until 2025. The $2 billion project was expected to be finished this year to help with the whole traffic nightmare situation that LAX has over there. And apparently the People Mover is 96% done, but they're saying we're going to have to wait a little longer. And on Monday, fast food workers here in California are going to get a little more cash in their pockets. A new law is set to kick in that'll raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour, a 25% bump from the current $16 minimum wage. And that is huge for workers, but some business owners are saying more money, more problems, worried about keeping their doors open. NBC's correspondent Mara Barrett is here with more.
The $4 an hour pay raise could boost paychecks for an estimated 500,000 fast food workers in California. But in the lead up to the new $20 minimum wage policy taking effect April 1st, business owners like Amir Samadi in San Jose project a pinch.
As an owner or as an employer, you have to have coverage to pay them. If you cannot, you have to shut your door.
During the pressure of the pandemic, Samadi says he didn't lay off any workers or cut hours. With the new increase, though, he's not sure he can afford that same protection. A collective of franchisees for Pizza Hut and Round Table Pizza already indicated plans to lay off at least 1,200 delivery drivers this year, according to the Wall Street Journal. Round Table Pizza tells NBC News the franchisee is transferring their delivery services to third party, calling it unfortunate, but we look at this as a transfer of jobs. Pizza Hut has not returned our request for comment and has not said publicly the change is connected to the new law. Others said they've paused hiring or cut back on workers' hours. Governor Gavin Newsom signed the FAST Act into law last fall.
This is a big deal. $20 an hour.
Requiring the pay bump at any fast food chain with 60 or more locations nationwide, like Pizza Hut or Panera Bread. That's a 25% increase from the state's broader $16 minimum wage, which had grown over the last 8 years. It's a result in part from a decade of fight for $15 protests. The movement now ballooning to a fight for $20 motto in response to inflation and higher costs of living. But this law is just for one industry, those who work in fast food.
What is the point of having a separate minimum wage for fast food workers versus just across the board?
It's very, very unusual to have a separate minimum wage for a particular sector. I still think there's this common misconception that, oh, well, that business owner makes a lot of money, they can afford it. That might be true, right? But that doesn't mean they won't change their behavior. When the minimum wage goes up, some low-skilled workers lose their jobs.
And while it threatens those jobs, consumers could be eating the new costs too. McDonald's, Chipotle, and Jack in the Box have already said they'd raise menu prices in response to the law, creating several losers in a play that was sold as one that would win.
In speaking with economists for this piece, they say that adjusting minimum wages like this is actually basically just political theater. It looks really good for someone like Governor Newsom, but in reality, when you change the minimum wage base, you don't adjust any taxes, and then you don't see any changes in the budget deficit. The need, though, for wage adjustment, especially in this industry, is very real. In the fast food industry, more workers live in poverty than any other industry, but in reality, economists say something more like a tax credit would be more effective in this situation. Back to you.
Mara Barrett, thanks so much. Now, for years, NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson has been reporting on the risk whales face in the waters they share with cargo ships and fishing lines, as well as how climate change plays a role in the place they call home.
This morning, residents woke up to find the whales gone, free because of shifting winds that apparently broke up the ice.
What's the goal of all this? The goal? Well, the goal is to conserve the species, not let them go extinct, not let us make them go extinct.
We're here on Cape Cod Bay in Massachusetts, and we're going to show you these North Atlantic right whales. That's exactly what you see behind me. They're an endangered species, and we're going to tell you what's being done to save them.
Now, today, her reporting continues. Tonight, she's telling us about a new project protecting these giants of the deep. Hey there, Ann.
Hey, Gadi, this new pilot program in the Pacific Northwest caught our eye not just because of how it may help those top predators in those waters, those killer whales, those orcas, but also the possibility that it could also help another endangered whale species on the Atlantic coast.
It happens quickly. Whoa. A spout, a dorsal fin, as killer whales surface in the Salish Sea off Seattle. Weighing up to 11 tons, they can be hard to see for tourists and ship captains.
Oh my gosh.
Boats are supposed to keep a safe distance.
Hey, how's it going? Good. I know they might have just come up, but just make sure you're staying at least 400 yards away, all right? Thank you.
In the miles of channels and straits across the U.S.-Canada border, including Puget Sound. This is very much a working waterway. Last year, some 300,000 commercial vessels traversed these waters where 23 different species of whales, porpoises, and dolphins swim. Sightings of these species, called cetaceans, are now tracked in a new program led by the U.S. Coast Guard.
And this is the nerve center? This is it.
Lieutenant Commander Margaret Woodbridge gives us a rare look at the cetacean desk.
Is it like an air traffic control center, but for boats? In some ways, yes.
Instead of radar,
this looks like we have another killer whale report here.
The Coast Guard relies on sightings.
Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're hoping to really tap into all those eyes on the water and get that information into this database and alert system.
Roger, good copy. No reported traffic.
So that we can let that larger shipping traffic know when there are whales nearby.
It's all done on apps. To see how it works, we take to the water with the Coast Guard. Senior Chief Jordan Galloway is our guide.
Do you see whales every day when you're out?
Not every day. Just depends on where we're patrolling and where they are.
On the bridge of the cutter Adeli, the cetacean desk system is put to use.
It was seen today at 10:20?
Yeah, about 40 minutes ago.
40 minutes ago? That's where we're headed now.
Yep.
As we travel, there are ferries and freighters on the waters, but no speed limits, making the sightings and warnings to slow down crucial to the survival of the whales, says NOAA's Lynn Berry, both above and below the surface.
So with 300,000 commercial ships coming through these waters, that creates a lot of underwater noise, I would think.
Yeah, we're concerned about the noise from vessels. Different vessels have different sounds that they make that can interfere with the whales' echolocation, that sonar they use to find their food.
So what you see here, those are killer whales. And there are two different kinds in these waters. One is an endangered species. That is the southern resident orca, and there are just 74 left.
Their plight similar to the North Atlantic right whales on the East Coast we saw last year.
Is that a calf?
Yes, it is.
That calf is one of 5 right whales killed this year, 2 from presumed vessel strikes, 1 entangled in fishing gear. Sighting programs are good, says Oceana's Gib Brogan, but not enough.
So what needs to be done?
We need strong regulations that are put in place to slow the boats down in places where the whales are present, and then we need to enforce those.
A proposal to expand mandatory speed zones on the East Coast awaits White House approval. While in Seattle,
we have a pod of about 7 or 8 orcas traveling southbound.
Officials seek a new course to save the whales in the Pacific and Atlantic.
Now, this pilot program is scheduled to run for 4 years. It is all voluntary. Ships' captains sign up for the whale alert system, and anyone can contribute sightings. Officials hope to duplicate the success of another program called Quiet Sound. It operates in the waters west of Whidbey Island in the Pacific Northwest. That's a favorite orca hangout. They had 70% of the ship's captains there participate in this program, and they were able to reduce underwater noise by 45%. And that enables the whales to better communicate with each other and keep themselves safe. Gadi?
70% participation. That's a lot. NBC's Ann Thompson, thanks so much. And before we go, it is time for the future of everything, and sweet dreams are made of these vacations that focus on nothing but rest. A little nightcap is coming up after this quick break, so stay tuned. Welcome back, and it's time now for the future of everything. We have been talking a lot lately about biohacking and the future of wellness. And in my house, the future of sleep, like as in, will we ever get sleep again now that we have 2 little monsters who refuse to sleep through the night? Well, apparently now there's this new thing called sleep tourism that's waking up the travel industry. So, of course, a few days ago, I had to tell my incredible wife that I had to set out for this very tough assignment. that gives a whole new meaning to the term dream vacation. Take a look. Move over, Magic Kingdom, and bye-bye beaches. For more and more travelers, there's a new kind of dream vacation.
I turned my regular hotel room into a sleep tourism destination.
Dubbed sleep tourism, the idea has people booking trips just to get a good night's rest.
You just take vacation time to sleep. I just think I need this.
It's all part of a booming travel trend. This year, a Hilton survey found rest and relaxation is the #1 reason people want to get away in 2024, something a lot of hotels aren't sleeping on. Here in the heart of downtown LA, Hotel Figueroa has a suite set up just for sleep seekers, and Connie Wang is going to help us check it out.
Yeah, welcome, Gadi.
Right.
Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much. Inside this special rest and recovery suite, it already smells sleepy. Every detail is designed to get you drowsy. From tech that will make your muscles melt, that's the stuff, to a red light mask, an infrared mat that promises rejuvenation. Are the dark circles gone? And even an AI-enabled alarm clock that can read you a customized bedtime story.
Evening prairie wisdom.
What are you hoping that a sleep tourist takes away from a stay here?
Ultimately, we want to make sure that people are able to rejuvenate themselves and turn that rise and grind into a rise and shine.
They're not alone. Analysts expect the sleep tourism market to expand by $400 billion in the next 4 years as hotels across the country install smart beds to improve comfort, provide personalized pillows, and offer restful wellness retreats.
Being in so many different places all the time, I just wanted to figure out a way also to prioritize rest no matter where I was.
Ronnie May just enjoyed an Arizona getaway with one goal in mind: to get in bed. Was the rest you got on your sleep vacation worth the trip?
Honestly, when I embarked on this journey, I was expecting it not to be, and I really was surprised that I truly got some of the best sleep I had ever had.
Still, catching Z's can be costly. Many sleep-centric suites going for more than $1,000 a night. Where's this beautiful pillow? The price tag, nothing to wink at, but maybe something to sleep on. And speaking of sleep, what are the odds the book on your bedside table is a romance novel? Well, it turns out the chances might be better than you might think, because the romance genre is making this major comeback right now. And some of that is thanks to the passion of an incredibly innovative mind with the last name of Musk. And no, we're not talking about that Musk. NBC's correspondent Elwyn Lopez is going to explain as she takes us inside the world of the Passionistas.
Passionflix has to be the 8th wonder of the world.
Like, sorry, is this just all of Book Talk's dreams come true? Don't get me wrong, I'm kind of obsessed.
That obsession sizzling on the island of enchantment, now seeing a new wave of romantics. They're known as Passionistas, and hundreds of them are flocking to the Caribbean for this year's spicy plot, PassionCon.
Let's just say you're happy to be in Puerto Rico.
Of course, wouldn't say no.
Swifties move over. These fans are coming in hot, shelling out big bucks to be here. Some even have tattoos inspired by their favorite book series.
A matching tattoo.
A matching tattoo, like Miss
on a romance novel. On a romance novel, yes.
The love buffs are taking over Puerto Rico for an all-inclusive weekend. It's a desire for deep connection.
Why travel so far for this conference?
It's very cliche, but like when they say it's a family, but it really is.
This mother and daughter even took me out for a scavenger hunt.
Have you ever played a game quite like this as mother and daughter? No.
The goal, to find the pieces of a Passionflix poster revealing a new cast member.
Where you go to cool off and take a dip among water guns and cannonball flips.
I was a bit of a lost cause.
How many pools are there in this place?
But my new friends were in it to win it.
There it is!
The driving force behind all of this, Tosca Musk, the sister of SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
I grew up with my mom. We watched a lot of romance novels, and it was really fun. It was a fun bonding experience, and so now I get to make them, and it's fun.
The South African filmmaker is behind Passionflix, a romance streaming service that puts often hot and heavy pages onto the small screen like their latest entry, Wallbanger.
There is some sort of misperception, if you will, about romance novels.
Well, romance novels are the #1 selling genre in the world, and I don't think that some people are happy about that.
By that you mean a lot of people.
You know, some people look down on romance novels because they think they're not intellectual enough, and I think that's stupid. You know, it's unfortunate they're looked down upon so much. I do believe it's changing a lot, though, and I'm loving this revolution for the romance novel industry.
Over the past year and across the country, book sales dipped, but it's romance novels that are still cashing in. Annual print sales of the genre have more than doubled in the past 3 years. It's following skyrocketing.
It's amazing that you came here all the way from Slovakia and that you've made a lot of international friends.
It's a lot of fun to get to meet people from all over the place, because there are people from Australia, there are people from Latin America, there are people from the US, obviously.
It's a borderless bond that goes beyond fiction, uniting fans from across the world. And it doesn't hurt that here they've hired dozens of men to be our very own book boyfriends.
I need to talk about the book boyfriends.
Book boyfriends.
I haven't seen them yet. I have to find them on premises here.
Yeah, I think we have about 40 book boyfriends.
40?
Here. Yeah.
Do you need to spare one?
I mean, we have a few.
Can you?
You know, take your pick.
They welcome the woman, they take them to the elevator, they take their bags for them, they dance with them.
Yeah, real gentlemen.
Just real gentlemen.
And sure enough, we found them. Or really, they found us. Straight off the pages and close to sunset, not too far from an idyllic scene.
It's worth the travel from Australia. Just for the book boyfriends.
Elwin Lopez, NBC News, Puerto Rico.
Elwin, and that's a table surrounded by book boyfriends, huh?
I was happy. Don't do this.
I mean, did anybody end up in like the carry-on luggage back home?
No, I flew home alone, unfortunately. But, you know, I mean, they were incredibly nice. They did tell me that they were going to teach me how to dance. I did not take them up on that this time, but definitely next time.
Very professional. I got to ask, though, okay, take me through those stats again, because I travel a lot, and I got to say, I have not seen a lot of romance novel covers. Not that I would be looking and noticing who's got them. But yeah, is romance novel, that's like having a resurgence now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, remember growing up, you saw people with the covers, right? I remember growing up in Spain, you didn't see the covers because people had paper covers over the actual covers of the books on the subway.
Right.
And now you have Kindles, so no one really knows what you're reading.
So you never know what how spicy somebody's reading material is, huh?
Very spicy.
And speaking of the Musk family, I mean, you got a chance to spend some time with Tosca and her mother, who is a force of nature. She's been right there by her son's side as he's changed the world in so many ways. And now she's there with her daughter. How instrumental has she been in
and both of her sons, by the way, because they're both incredible in what they're doing. And she's been supportive of her entire family. Remember that she went through a lot when she was married. And now she's helping her children as they grow and make a huge difference in the world. And it's absolutely amazing to see her. Her daughter, Tosca, called her an unstoppable force. And that's absolutely what she is.
Okay, so what is the book or the series everyone's talking about? Now, I know it was like 50 Shades of Grey back in the day. There was a Twilight. What is it in 2024?
You act like you're not familiar with those books, Gadi. We know you are.
I mean, 50 Shades of Grey. It's like blue. Was it blue? It was great, right?
Sure. Let's pretend you don't know anything about it. ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Everybody is talking about it. It is a romantasy, so romance fantasy. Some people on TikTok are saying it's similar between Twilight and Lord of the Rings. It's not me saying it, so nobody come after me for that. ACOTAR, it's going to be big. I'm going to get a copy just for you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Elwin Lopez, thanks. And finally tonight, we want to send you into the weekend with 60 seconds of joy. And for us here at NBC News, this man has brought more joy to journalism than anyone I know. Today is Harry Smith's last day here before he heads to teach some extremely lucky students over at Iowa's Central College. And he has been such a mentor to me and to so many here at NBC. And I want you to hear why. This is what he said this morning to our friends Joe and Savannah. And it was perfectly an encapsulation of the impact he's had on all of us. Take a listen.
I've told many a kid,
Your curiosity has to be your most important. That's your biggest engine inside. You go out with your eyes open, you go out with your ears and your heart open, so you can hear what folks are trying to communicate to you. And when you come back to tell the story, it's not your story, it's their story.
It's their story. Those are words all of us journalists should live by. He is a man who's shown me time and time again that listening is more important than talking. And if you listen close enough, you will realize that in the real world, the world of face-to-face, human-to-human interaction, we have so much more that connects us than divides us. Harry, your kind of optimism, curiosity, and wonder will continue to be our North Star here. Best of luck. We love you, Harry. Good night. And that does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.